Unfortunately, probably more of a spender, but somewhere in between, but weighted that way.
The in-between's nice. There's times where I'm saving, and then when the holiday seasons come up, there's times where you just want to go above and beyond for your loved ones and significant others. And
I'm a saver for sure. From the young age of like 6, I had a bank account. They always showed me how to like use money carefully, and I had an allowance growing up, like $2 a week growing up.
I would consider myself a saver, right? I don't just spend like that because I know my income, I know my expense. So I choose what I spend on.
Somewhere in between, depends on the time of year, I think. And also life phases, I guess, too. When I was younger and I initially moved here, I definitely would say I was a little bit more of a spender. Just not mindlessly spending, but more open to spending on experiences. Now, having, being a mom, I'm a little more mindful with those things, so maybe a little more on the saving side.
Yeah, I had the luxury of being able to retire myself last year, so just trying to travel would be definitely my means of extravagance, yes.
Yes, currently working on building enough savings for my son and also eventually getting my own place.
Yes and no. Like, I'd like to be able to retire before I'm, super old.
I save some money. I'm business oriented.
Okay.
Yeah, I've run a couple of successful business, even though I have not started one here. But I still have the intention, if I am able to raise some money here to, establish myself. So I'm saving up some money.
Honestly, maybe a 6.5, 7. I don't know a lot about investments. I feel like that's an opportunity for me. I'm pretty good with what I know. I don't feel like I'm irresponsible, but I know that there's an opportunity to learn a little bit more about that stuff.
like a 6, I would think. Like, I'm more aware, but I think sometimes I'm better. Maybe some months, some years, I'm like a 8 out of 10, but I feel like sometimes I'm a 3 out of 10 too. It's like...
Probably a 6 to 7, yeah.
Maybe I should be in between 8 and 9.
I would say 8. I don't have a good retirement plan. I have my home that I could sell later on, but everyone else is going to do that, so who knows where we'll be at that point.
Tip I will give people is you don't just sit around, right? You got to go out and do something, no matter how little. Then, if you are doing something in your spending, try to save, even if in a day, like $2 is something.
Make your food at home. Eating out is very convenient and super easy when you're living in a city, but it makes the world of a difference. Just doing a grocery shop once every week, doing a good meal prep, it cuts down on a lot of the cost.
For sure.
Oh my gosh, if anybody has the opportunity to have a company match, an RSP or anything, it's free money. And even though we don't think we have that 5%, that 10% to put away, compound, they should teach that in school.
Don't look at how much you have. Never look at your bank account, because if you look at your bank account, you'll go, I could afford that trip. If you never look at your bank account and you always think, I can't afford that trip, you're always going to be able to afford that trip.
I think even from an elementary, how to save your allowance, kind of from ground up to ladder up in that kind of sense. I think there should be not an elective, but a mandatory class in every level of school, from elementary, middle, junior to middle / to high school and post-secondary even.
Sorry.
Yes,
even
yes,
workplaces?
yes. I think, 100%. Even whether you talk about union advantage and disadvantage, a lot of people might think it's great to be a part of a union, but do they actually know what the downsides of that are and things? So it's not just what you're taking home, benefits. But
Definitely.
Yeah, early on, I think grade 9, 10 even, we should definitely be educating kids more about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I learned so many horrible things in school, so many useless things in school, and I wish they had taught me more how to do your own taxes. When you're 16, just teach that stuff. You don't need to learn about, X plus, 2 plus, whatever, algebra, all that algebra stuff.
Absolutely. That is something I wish I got. Maybe graduating high school, 12th grade, or even just right after that. And now even as I'm saying it, I wonder if I would have taken that in or if I would have listened to it, because now in the position that I'm in, I'm like, oh, I totally would have loved to know this stuff. But being so young and not really exposed to what real life is yet, maybe people wouldn't really take it for what it is.
Yeah, if I check on it and it will help me, plan well, I will use them. Definitely, I will.
Right. If employers were to offer that, I don't know that it would be used because it's already too late.
I think so. Yeah. If it was, given to if it was given to me and my coworkers, I don't think that it would be a resource that would be going to waste, at least.
I personally never worked for a company that did match, like offer RSPs or things like that. That's where I would take advantage of, or go to at least an info session to see how does this benefit me or what can I do. Yeah.
That's a good question. My girlfriend is very cautious talking to me about money. And I'm just super open about it. Like, I'll tell her anything she wants to know about my financial, anything, anything money related. She can ask me about it, and I'm just super open with her. But in terms of why people are like that, maybe parents. They're kind of, they hide things as well from the children. My parents have always been open about money. They've said, here's what we have. This is, we have this much in savings, this much in the home value. And so they've always been open with that with me. So I don't really have that background of, you have to hide what you have.
I think people wrap it into their identity a little bit and the direct correlation to maybe what their success is like. So people like to think, if I have a lot of money or if I'm seemingly successful in, having a more financially stable life, they're perceived as like better than or higher up in a ranking of some sort, in like a weird social rankings.
Most people, they talk about money because they need it. Without it, you cannot solve most of your problem. It's a basic necessity. You can't just dispense it. Yeah, it's a must.
I think it's a personal issue, so it's like people don't want, and there's like a whole thing with classism, and it's not like to separate rich people from poor people or people trying to climb that socioeconomic ladder in that kind of sense, to be more politically correct, I guess.
Generational, some of it, like my parents never did. It would have been horrified to speak about it. I think it's getting better. There's a lot of advice out there about being open with your kids about what's in your will, no surprises, and things like that would never have been discussed, I don't think, in the past. But some families, I think, are open to it, especially when it comes to like things like legacy and creating family wealth these days. You have to educate your family on the decisions you're making and why.
Just be really careful with your money. Yeah, I was really hard on myself going from like 20 years old to 40 years old. I wouldn't go out to eat. My friends would ask me out to go for a drink. I'd say no thank you. So I was really strict. If you want to succeed, you want to do well later on, you have to be a little bit more restrictive early on.
Pressures are getting more, and it's and it sucks because I think for society it's like we could kind of get more together and have those like 5 o'clock kind of pubs, just with the happy hours, They still do exist, but I think just the culture of it's kind of been lessened to a degree.
Do with less, and just, our parents used to pay for cash for everything. You didn't put credit on anything. So this scary thing is with all these apps now, they're like, make 4 payments on it, so just keep adding on to the debt and you don't see. So it's visibility too. I think if you actually give yourself a budget, even if you can't live to that budget 1 month, know what you're actually spending and where it's going, so that you can then hopefully get yourself back on track quicker if you do slide off. But it's visibility.
You must save now for your tomorrow. So if you want a secure tomorrow, you have to start now. So that's what I will leave for you.
Great, excellent advice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
really
you.
appreciate it.